Welcome to Truth in Lending, America's generic, most average podcast about mortgages and real estate. Well, what's left of it. The fatigue is real, and we're all feeling it. Are you having some trouble remaining positive?
Mm-hmm.
We can't help but maybe spending the next 30 minutes with us will help you realize that life isn't that bad, even with 8% rates. Today is August 24th, 2023, and this is Truth in Lending. Somebody wake me up when this is over.
Here we are.
Yeah.
It's
Great.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's happening.
The week
Yeah.
from hell.
Totally. Totally the week from hell.
Ugh.
Well, pop some Valium, some Xanax, and have a couple of drinks and some painkillers.
Oh, dear.
And let's have a fun show.
We'll do our best. We got this.
I'm just
Yeah.
glad that somebody in the room is smiling, and it's a beautiful smile.
Thank you, Randy.
So I usually try to remain upbeat, optimistic,
Yeah, right.
even jovial, despite market conditions. But
That's how I describe Randy.
the Fed wins. I've had enough. I'm ready for this movie to be over. I'm over it. And tomorrow, JP himself is going to bring down
The hammer.
the reckoning.
The reckoning.
So,
So after the whole week and a half of just every day.
yeah. I don't even know if we're going to be able to keep the lights on after this show. So this might be
This might be it.
the last recordable episode. We'll still get
you know-
together and commiserate.
Yeah.
You know, the
Yeah.
rates haven't been this high since Half Baked was available on VHS.
Do you know what VHS is?
I don't know what it stands for.
I don't know. You got me on that one.
Looking at the two millennials.
Well, I
What does it
was.
stand for?
Do you know what a VCR is?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I know what
Good.
VHS is.
Did you
I
ever have any
didn't know
VHS
what
tapes?
What was it? An 8-track? There was like a bunch of 8-tracks in like a vintage store one time, and I asked my sister, I was like, "What are these?" And then they immediately, actually, my boyfriend sent it to my dad and said, "Ask that again on camera so I can send this to your dad."
So what else in the year 2000?
I was 8 years old the last time inventory was this low.
Whoa.
Yeah. Record low, 25 year, or inventory hasn't been this low.
Wow,
in
you just
25
throw
years.
Greg's age out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I am much younger than Randy. Yes.
Much.
The median home price was $119,600 versus $380,000 now.
Yeah.
Woo.
For a nation.
For a nation,
yeah.
yes.
119, man, imagine what you could buy now
Be real nice.
if you would have invested in real estate when you were 8 years old.
Mistakes I made.
Definitely. Yeah, the average rate in the year 2000 was right around 8%. And we're really stinking close to that right now.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, 2000.
What else happened in the year 2000?
The Y2K switch.
Do you remember the Y2K switch?
I remember wearing the 2000 New Year's Eve glasses. Remember?
Remember? Remember?
Did you have glasses?
You remember? Yes,
Were
I
you
remember.
not cool enough to have glasses?
I don't know. I would have been 21 in the year 2000, so I
Those
definitely
glasses
don't
were
remember.
gone
I definitely.
before they made it on your face.
I think they were full-blown beer goggles by that time.
Were they like the straw that just went and made zeros around your eyes?
Yeah, probably.
I could
That's
see
what I like
that.
to picture.
My parents don't listen to the show, so I'm totally going to throw them under the bus.
Oh,
but
no.
I remember the Y2K switch. My parents stocked up on toilet paper, on perishable goods. I mean,
Terrified.
their entire garage, they were set for a year. They were doomsdayers. They're like, this is it. This is happening. And meanwhile, I just had my beer goggles on somewhere down in Scottsdale, Arizona. Go figure, right? Yeah.
I lived up on the mountain in Mount Hood, and we didn't have any
Did
real
you guys?
conversations
You had
about it.
you had an old school telephone though, didn't you?
Oh, heck
One that you
yeah.
had to dial that had a cord.
My dad was a telephone man.
Oh, of course. Does he still have?
We
He probably still
have
has
a phone line.
Nice.
Like
He was
seven.
a telephone man?
Yeah, like telecommunications. He dug wires.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
and he fixed phone cables. Yeah. So we have many phones.
Exciting.
What a nice trip down memory lane. This is
Yeah.
helping with the depression totally.
Kevin Spacey won the Oscar for Best Actor, and Hilary Swank won for the Best Actress.
I just was doing that because the first person that you read.
Kevin Spacey?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boo.
American Pie. Do you remember American Pie? Gosh, what a great movie. They don't make movies like that anymore.
I don't remember movies.
Mortgage fraud. Here's something that's fun. A fun little tidbit. Mortgage fraud increased by 1,411% from 1997 to 2005.
I thought that was a
That's
typo.
Massive. No, that was not a typo. That's real.
Oh my God.
That is real. And also in 2001, right when we started having some contraction, the Fed lowered the rate 11 times from 6.5% to 1.75% at the beginning of 2001.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There is a chance. I feel like we're close. I feel like we're really close to the top.
I love it.
If we can just keep the lights on for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I noticed you printed these on both sides. Trying to save a little overhead.
Oh, that's totally it.
Yeah, I had to print the script on both sides of the paper because we're
Cutting costs.
yeah, we're kind of cutting costs.
Well, the first camera on a cell phone was in 2000.
That's a big deal.
That's huge.
I remember it
How
was
big was it?
1 megapixel,
Oh my gosh.
and I'll never forget. My dad had a Nokia 1 megapixel
I
camera.
thought you could just play
phone.
Snake on those.
No, no, he had one with 1 megapixel. Imagine that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Bluetooth technology and the first USB drive were invented in 2000.
How old does that make you feel, Katie?
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh
Yes.
huh.
I remember having flash drives.
Mm.
Carrying
yeah.
Flash drives around.
It was such
But
a
I
pain.
don't remember the first thing I had that was Bluetooth. I can't picture what that would have been.
I remember my first Bluetooth headset. That was so cool. I'd always wear it. I'd always wear it on my left ear when I was driving my car, so I looked cool. So people knew I was on. The, yeah.
Oh, that is probably the first thing I had is like a Bluetooth for the car.
Yeah.
Mm.
I was
Definitely.
pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is really cool.
The,
Do you tap it?
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even a tap. It was you
Oh,
had
it's
to
a button.
Yeah, you had to push the
There's-
button.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The tapping was the thing.
The .com bubble burst.
Do you know anything about that, Greg?
Not really. I was like 8.
Okay. Well, yeah, the dot-com bubble burst was a huge thing.
Tell us more.
Well, you've heard of the internet, right?
I think I use it sometimes.
People were investing everything into .coms. One of the most notable, in fact, was pets.com.
Pet Finder?
No, pets.
What does pets do?
Pets.com.
Like Neopets?
No, just pets.
No, like as in you have cats, you have dogs, pets.com. That was one of the biggest ones that dropped. Anyways, moving on. Moving on.
We gotta find something to fill our time. 'Cause
Okay.
There's not mortgages,
Yeah,
right?
Yep. No, you've got a couple of really interesting fun facts here.
Gold was trading at $295 an ounce.
Man, Greg, you should have bought gold.
I was 8.
You still should have
I
bought
should have.
gold.
You're right. I should have bought
Gold
gold.
trading somewhere between 18
Outer
and
Banks.
$1,900 an
Yeah.
ounce. Yeah. No doubt.
Outer
I think I
Gold.
was
Banks, they
trading
just found it.
lunches at that time.
Yeah. Great investment. Stock up on toilet paper and canned goods too while you're at it.
Go-Gurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just trading Go-Gurts.
For us.
Here's my favorite before we actually move on to some real deal stuff is gas, which was $1.26 a gallon nationwide average in the year 2000.
What do
People
you-
were still pissed off about it.
Do you know what I just paid for it? $4.53.
Oh, you got a good deal.
Yeah.
Where?
That's not bad.
Because I'm paying like
Mobile.
$4.89. I'm paying $4.89 on my end of town. That's dumb.
That's the high rollers.
Well,
You could come visit me.
well, this has been depressing, and you guys are laughing.
Extremely.
We're
Yeah.
certainly depressing.
Let's
Keep rolling.
let's turn it up. And today in Randy's room, we are going to crash and burn together. Isn't this exciting?
You are crashing and burning.
I have actually never wanted to be more wrong about 8% than I am right now. I thought for a little while there, I was like, oh man, I'm just one of those predictors.
I remember when you said 8% in the last studio, and I was like, no way. And at the time, rates were like 5.5, nearing 6. And I was like, absolutely never will we see 8%.
So, Randy, when will we see 8%?
Oh, we already are seeing 8%. The average rate at 7.5%, that's with points. Perfect credit.
Perfect credit.
In a great scenario, low LTV, all that stuff. Yeah, we're already seeing 8%, buddy. We are there. I feel like, I almost kind of feel like we should celebrate a little bit.
Yeah,
I got something right. Yay! All right. We're at the top of the roller coaster, so
oh my
we
God.
can go down now. That's okay. We're ready. We're ready to come
start
down.
Screaming.
Yes. Mortgage applications for purchases are the lowest they have been since April of 1995.
Really?
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I'm
Do you know what I was doing in April of 1995? I would have been a sophomore in high school. And I'm trying to think of like the biggest movie in 1995 that I can remember right around that time. Had to have had Mila Jovovich and Bruce Willis in it. Can you guess the movie?
No, I cannot.
it's not Die Hard.
No.
No.
Moving on. You guys.
I was 3.
Inventory and supply is now the lowest since 1997. You know what else is crashing and burning? My listing. It's been on the market for 3.5 weeks. I've had
boy.
exactly this many 0 goose egg calls. Not even a showing. We are doing a open house this weekend. I will be surprised if one person that is not a lender or a realtor shows up. If one interested buyer, I will be surprised. Does anyone want to take a $5 bet on this? No?
Okay.
No? Okay.
I think you'll have a neighbor show up.
Oh, fancy.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
Also,
I would bet $5 that you will have a neighbor show up.
okay, I'll take that bet.
Okay.
All right, deal.
Live on Truth in Lending.
Live on Truth in Lending. Illegal gambling ring. Sting operation. All right.
Ken Perry, don't listen.
A couple more things in my room. I have been losing some deals to cash. I mean, there's some things in here to talk about a little bit later, but over 33% of all transactions in 2023 nationwide have been cash. Now, we talked about how in the month of July, 57% of all deals in Deschutes County alone were cash.
It blows my mind.
And I had a $1 million deal earlier this week, and they decided, you know what, we don't want to pay $80,000 in interest. So in a year, the first year, so we're just going to pay cash. I'm like, you know what, I don't blame you at all. I didn't feel bad for losing the deal at all. I'm like, if I was in your position, I'd pay cash too.
It's hard because I feel like stocks are down, right? So you're losing at a loss.
Yeah,
But it's also taking away the potential gain would be 7% on a return,
right.
which is lower than
Yeah,
interest
absolutely.
rates. So that's crazy to think
All
about.
right, so here's the real meat and potatoes of my room today. So a company called Ingenious Insights talks about relevant loan officer population from year to year, and also talks about loan volume done. Now, a relevant loan officer, by their metrics, is a loan officer that closes on average 1 deal per month for 12 months.
I made it.
Wow, Katie, welcome.
Thank
welcome. I'm having so much fun playing with the buttons today. All right, so in 2019, right, that's the most average year that we can think of. A lot of people compare things because we know that 2020 and 21 were anomalies.
Yeah.
And so
Before
2019
we
is
saw
kind of our
the-
baseline. In 2019, overall loan volume was $2.07 trillion. And there were 144,615 relevant loan officers in the industry. Fast forward to 2023, through June of this year, we've only done 568 billion, right? Billion with a B. We're going to be lucky if we hit 1 billion or 1 trillion in loans as an entire industry.
Wow.
And the number of unique relevant loan officers is 99,925.
Wow.
So if we go back
That's so
to
crazy.
2021, where we did 4.4 trillion in loans, and we had 179,428 loan officers, relevant loan officers. Now we're down to 99.925.
Wow.
2022, we did 2.4 trillion in loans, right? So 2 trillion less, and there were 150,000 and some change. So we are actually down over 40%, which means, like, here's my one silver lining of all of this: market share. So those of you who are surviving, you're survivors, welcome to the club.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely market shares there.
And congratulations on being a relevant loan officer.
I'm relevant.
You are
I mean
so
something.
relevant.
And now,
Is
since
everyone being depressed? Getting
taken
depressed?
taken my claim as a relevant loan officer,
Yeah.
you get to listen to what I have to say
Okay.
in Katie's kitchen.
Do I have to?
Yes.
Okay.
So this week I was talking with one of my colleagues, and we started having a conversation about whether we should go FHA or conventional for the client. And the situation is that it's a first-time home buyer that has really minimal funds for their down payment. So they only have like that 3 to 3.5%. We're getting seller credits to cover closing costs. That's what they have. And so the payments are, of course, uncomfortable because that's just the market we're in.
I'm so uncomfortable.
And they're probably doing a temporary buy down. I'm trying to remember for his situation. But when the opportunity presents itself to refinance, they want to be able to refinance right away to make it more affordable.
Mm-hmm.
And so the conversation came up of whether we should go FHA or conventional, because if conventional comes up, then there might not be enough equity in the home to be able to do that refinance and also include the closing costs on the refinance. And it was just a weird, you're so used to always saying like, oh, you can just refinance when you get the chance to, but we're definitely at a point where appreciation isn't gaining as much. We're not going to see it. So if you put that minimal amount down, that's going to be really difficult. But on the flip side, FHA loans have the streamline that doesn't have an appraisal requirement. It doesn't have an income requirement. It doesn't have a credit requirement. And so you can just automatically kind of float down to that. Now there's still costs associated, but you can loop them in and you can go up to, I think it's 125% of the assumed value for a streamline refinance.
This is correct.
So it kind of opens that, it's a conversation that might be worth having for your client to make that decision. And also the other downside is, which we, just reiterating, we forget that the rate and term refinance has the new LLPA ad that makes it just as high as cash out refinance, or almost as high. And so previously it's been pretty comparable rates to purchase to rate and term refinance, but now it's going to be a higher refinance rate versus a purchase rate, except with FHA.
You are such a forward thinker.
I know. But it was an interesting conversation. I actually didn't think about it. It was Matt Vogel on my team. He was the one that started to ask that question. And I think it's worth noting because it might cost more upfront to do an FHA loan, but having that ability to float down to a potentially lower rate in the future with less stress might be beneficial for some people.
Do you know the max seller contributions of 3% down conventional?
3%, yeah.
Yep.
3%.
And for FHA?
6%.
Yeah. Cheater.
Showing me. Yeah. So that, but also that's still financed, right? So you're really financing it in.
I let the client decide what's best for them.
But do you explain the FHA versus conventional?
Absolutely.
Streamline option?
Absolutely. Especially if they're right. If they're below a 740, if they're doing 3% down and they're below a 740, it's really
FHA always
hard.
wins.
Yeah, FHA is always winning. But if you're at 760 and you're like, man, that extra half a percent makes a difference for money in their wallet, and maybe the payment, with FHA, maybe the coupons that day are trading a little bit better and you can get a better payment. It's all about what makes the most sense to them. But I like what you're talking about as far as going to refinance down the road, right?
Yeah.
Not having the massive appreciation that we're used to having.
And not needing it.
That's right.
It's a peace of mind. So,
Cool.
yeah, think of that.
I'm feeling less depressed.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do.
It's also not depressing. Greg's Garage.
We have a great time in the garage.
Come on in.
What are we gonna
Greg's
do?
just cranking down in here.
Oh.
Everything's all sad and depressing over here, so I'd bring in a little motivation
Oh, wow.
Oh gosh.
to the market or to what you're doing.
That's great. That's perfect.
Yeah, fewer transactions. There's so much time, or there's a lot more time available for a lot of people. And it's not a great time to sit back and just go, we'll just see what happens.
The phone will ring eventually.
Yeah, I'm just going to refresh my email every 10 minutes and see what happens. That doesn't really work that way.
I'm just going to take a little snooze.
Yeah. So it's a great time to continue to learn and grow your business and figure out ways to stay relevant in this market.
Are you talking about continuing education with Ken Perry at Knowledge Coop?
I could be.
Shameless plug for Ken.
Could be more. I don't know how many marketing strategies or just random business ideas people come up with. Now's a great time to start to do that,
Yeah.
right? Adding video content in or just other things. Randy, what's something that you think you could bring in or a good tip for
Something
someone?
that's new? Okay. Well, this has worked for me. I don't know if it'll necessarily work for the other loan officers out there, but I like to golf. Golf's kind of my thing. I actually went and played golf today. I shot an 84.
Wow.
Yeah, which isn't bad for a 15.7 handicap. I actually played better today than what my handicap says. Yeah, it's all right. You don't need to.
Okay, yeah.
Well, there's a lot
not
of
your thing.
there's a lot of golf courses around Central Oregon. And so for those of you that are not listening in Central Oregon, please take my idea and run with it. If you're in Central Oregon and you take my idea, I will find you
On the golf course.
on the golf course, and I will take your ball.
And replace it with a Team Vance Loans ball.
Yes.
That's right. So what I've been doing is I've been making branded Team Vance Loans golf tees and taking them to golf courses and just giving them to them to give away. So a lot of like the fancy golf courses already have their own golf tees, and you get to the golf cart and you get to the first tee and you can just take as many as you want. You just fill your pockets and then you got golf tees, right? Well, a lot of the more municipal type courses, right? More lower cost courses where people like to play every day. They're not spending any money on golf tees. So I'm working with a couple of local golf courses where I just provide them with the tees. And so every time the general public is playing golf at these golf courses, they're playing with my tees. They've got my logo, my name,
Randy
and my
Vance,
phone number
what
on
a
there.
tease.
There's a button for that.
Yeah. Yeah, where's that button?
There it is. So yeah, that's one of the random things that I'm doing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Katie,
I like that.
put you on the spot here.
I am actually
Randy's on the
Right
buttons
back
today.
one thing I'm doing right now is redoing all of my photos. I finally had enough people say, "You're not blonde anymore, though." One of my photos that I use for everything is just really blonde. So if you see me, so I am investing in just getting more personal branding photography done.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great way to stand out.
Yeah, and then with that, I'll see about doing YouTube videos or trying to put like just that cover photo for a lot of the things so it could be more universal or what people are used to.
Fantastic. That's
Wow.
great.
Thanks.
Thank you guys for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
But great way to don't pull back now and just keep moving forward, differentiate yourself. And,
If you're not doing anything, you're not getting anything.
yeah,
in the
you will
future.
not be in the relevant category anymore.
You will become irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
I only have one bit of advice for people. When times are good, that's when you double down. That's what I did, and it's
Yeah.
helping pay the bills in a very slow period
Yeah.
for our entire industry. And when it's slow, double down. So basically, you're always doubling.
Double downing. Yes.
Yes, double downing.
Doubling down.
Yes,
Double dipping.
Yes.
Double
Yeah.
all of the above. Greg, moving
Dipper
on.
down.
Great. Get out of my garage. Get out
Moving
of here.
on.
dip dodge.
You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Okay.
Okay. Truth in Lending mortgage news.
Oh,
Um,
Greg's done with his garage.
Yeah, I'm done with the garage.
really?
Yeah.
I mean, okay,
What?
you're done.
Did I miss some?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mhm.
You can say it.
Yeah. If I had 2 weeks of nothing to do but work on my business, what is something that I would add into it? Of nothing but
yeah.
being able to work on my
He had
business.
an answer prepared for it, so he really.
Oh,
wanted it.
great. Please.
Yeah, because I read the script. I
Thank you.
prepare. Yeah. I actually put a
I
little
would
effort
like to
into
hear.
it like Greg did to his garage. Thanks, Greg.
You're very welcome.
Fabulous job on your
Yeah,
garage.
Thank you. Thank you. Conventional versus FHA.
If I had 2 weeks stake through Katie's heart, if I had 2 weeks to do nothing but work on my business, what I would do is I would go through my entire pipeline, right? My entire book of business, anyone who I've done a loan
Past
for,
clients.
past clients, and reach out to them. Not to offer them a refinance or to anything, just a personalized message, not one of these little copy and paste things, but
Yeah.
to go through, take the time, and just reach out. Whether it's a phone call, a text, an email, writing letters. You know, I write birthday cards at the beginning of each month and send them out for the entire month. Anyone who's been a past client the last 3 years gets a birthday card for 3 years in a row. And then I rinse and I repeat. So I think just having that contact right now, a lot of people are stressed out. A lot of people in our business are depressed, you know, kind of making light of it on this show. But like, it's a real bummer out there right now. It is tough. It is a grind.
If I didn't have this space to come in and talk about it every week or every couple weeks or whatever it is, you know, I can't help but think you feel like you're doing it alone, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're not listening to the podcast or maybe check in with your coworkers that aren't potentially listening to a podcast or meeting in office anymore because everyone's working from home, but like it feels heavy on each
Absolutely.
individual.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that idea. Just reach out to your clients.
Well, we've covered a lot of things in the news because it's all depressing. So we've only got we've got one each here. Boston Fed President Susan Collins says, while we are near peak rates, more hikes may be necessary. Gee, thanks, Sue.
Screw you, Sue. I said it. Jobless claims fall as the labor market is still hot.
Still hot. We're still hot.
Still hot.
Yep.
Keeps going.
Black Knight reports mortgage delinquency increased in July.
Ooh, sign of things to come. Yeah.
What
Don't
do we
forget,
think?
October 1st. It's the deadline.
Spooky season.
Average
Oh.
rate in America
Oh.
today.
Truth in Lending news.
Yeah.
Pumpkin spice lattes came out today.
Ooh, that is big. That is big.
Gosh, okay.
Average rate in America is right around 7.49%, as reported by Mortgage News Daily. That's for a 30-year conventional fixed. Jumbo, not far behind at 7.4%. And I will tell you this, there are very few jumbo lenders left out there that are even willing to be in the market. It is getting scary for those guys. And, average rate for FHA and VA right now in America, 7 1/8. Isn't that fancy?
Yes.
Well, I'd like to take just a moment and dedicate this show to a loan officer who I used to work with, Jack Thompson. He passed away yesterday. And I had the pleasure of working with Jack for 5 years. And it was really sad to get the news today that he has passed on. So this one's for you, Jack Thompson. Jack would have asked us, why the hell are you guys being so quiet?
I was like, I don't know, Jack. To
And he
make
probably
any
would,
comments on it,
and he
so-
probably would have had a shot of tequila waiting for
Oh,
it.
perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Jack seems like a friend.
Gonna miss you, Jack. All right.
We could use a shot of tequila right about now.
You can find us on Instagram and watch us on YouTube. And you can join our group on Facebook at Truth in Lending Podcast.